Hey people, this is the fifth day of creation, and I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to go to the last word and see what it means before we read this, and I think it'll help understand it. So if you missed the first one, the link's up above, and it looks like this. I put them all in a folder in order, and you'll be able to understand this better. So it's fairly short. It starts here, Genesis 1:20. It's called the fifth day, the fish and the birds. And it finishes here on 23, just 4 lines with the reckon for, make use, chemacy. That H is pronounced CH, the chemacy. And so this is chemacy. And that's where your base word commission comes from. An instruction or command to duty. You can see in the Latin, how they add an O to everything. The chemacy, meaning to entrust your commission. In commission is in use. Out of commission is not in use. And so what it's telling you is everything that it taught you in the first 4 days is putting it into commission. It's starting to move. The wheels are starting to turn. So this starts like the other 4 days. To yammer, Mael, to make the power from first, to make the power from begin, from the heavens, to make word from the heavens. And it starts with this yod, to make sorts to. And you see on the 4th day it was to make they. On the 3rd day it was to make few to. And on the 2nd and 1st day it was to make they. And so this word is make shorts to. And this is where your word shortcut comes from in several words. The root, to the root, to the bottom, to the consume, first, cross. S, consume, R, first, X, cross. If you're going to consume first, cross, it means make a shortcut. Go straight across. Don't go around the long way. To make source, but it's also the source. The root. The roots are a source. So to make the shorts to them is the sorts, SRTS. The sorts nips high. So the sorts nips high. This is a nip on the point. Nips are points, and you can see how they went ahead and circled them like nipples. That's where your word nipple come from. Them is sorts nips high. To see up, to C-U-P, to V-O-U-P, U-O-U-P, to see up. You people, you. This is Y-O-U. And so you is a word that comes from commission. When the captain's giving you a commission, make yod, to make see to. Make see to that gets done. Make see to people, the ones in charge, let fly above. You people, make see to people, the ones over. To share ears. All in place, the roof makes see the same is. And that's as above is so below. What's below is going to be the same above, the same is. And then how in Ramiel, Ramiel, the first power from the heavens. And W-Y is a old word meaning how or who. Who in Ramiel to. The first power from the heavens, the one that put his name on the beginning of this book. Ramiel, the fallen angel of the thunder of God. To from backwards and forwards, from 90 and then back the other way. Tenons, the godlies to at. So the 90 tenons are marked. 90 tenons, you're going to have 4 90s in a circle. And so they're clearly marked right here, 90. Also with Tazad, that means that's your number for 90, Tazad. And these are all just Tazad in different scripts. But that's your number 90 is Tazad. And 180 degrees away from him, the Pisces, the fish. And 90 degrees from that, you're going to see Tazad again at the 90s. And then across from that, you can see the whiffer, the yield. Remember, that's what we started at, was the first position. And then 90, and then the fish. And so tenons, that's referring to, this is a tenon and this is a mortise. And so this round part will be mortise, so these tenons can go straight through, and they also be mortised inside of the hub. This hub will be mortised out, and these have tenons slid in here. Same at this end. They'll be tenoned into the wheel. From 90 tenons, the goal is to at clasp and push. KLSP and PSH. The clasp and push each ye. The itchy, E-I-C-H-E. Itchy is a fish. You see it in the Greek, in the Jesus fish, called it itchy. The itchy's span. And so this, most all the words are like this. Between the nips is a span, S-P-N. And that gives you a good idea. When you can't figure out a word, read it backwards, because it's often used both ways. But the fishy's span, the fishy's span, look to connect. So across from the 90 was the fish's span, look to connect. The mileage, M-I-L-D-G-E, the mileage from 90 to from the backbone to myel, to the backbone. And so the backbone, this is the hub, thub, and this is the backbone. And so thub sits here at the North Star. It was a serpent's asshole, and it was the centers where Polaris sits today. It just sits there, and all this turns. This is myel, the backbone, and this is thub. So the itchy span look to connect the mileage, the distance from 90 to the backbone, R-by connected, A-R-B-Y, Vav, connected, R-by connected. The rims, R-M-S, the rims it raise shorts to, the rims it raise source to, them is of minus, of M-I-N-E-S, of minus, of negative. What to at, the clap to see up. Now it's K-L-P, to see, Vav, to I, to see, U-P. And to at clap to see up, that means birds. That's when this means birds. To see up just means to look up and what you're seeing up there. But what clap to see up is the birds. Can can pull from in who, where, to make first knowledge, the wire, as connected, or to where, from the backbone, give in with, backwards forward, in with of, to give in INWITHUF or OF, in with of. To at the claps, to see up. To at the birds, can pull from in who, where. The birds are the priest. When you're reading the New Testament, when it talks about birds, it's talking about priest. Right here, to the you people, to see connected, to see to people, the ones to see to, the ones over, the birds. To at clap, to see up, can pull from in who, where, from the backbone, give in with of. And so it's saying, to the what's in the hub is in the Mael, the backbone. So people used to read this, and this would be, how Ramiel, give in with of. And this is that thub. This is that North Star, thub, Thuv, thub. To give in with of, to give in this, in with of, in the center. And so this top one here, this Mael, this would be read YN Ramiel too. And then you see when it's coming back from the 90, it's now Tomiel. And so Tomiel is another one of them fallen angels. He's one that would kill you with one punch. So Tomiel. So Tomiel is the spoke, it seems like. Ramiel is the wheel, and Tomiel is the spoke. So this angel Tamiel, this is of the 20 watcher leaders, and it goes by another name of to Kesad, and it means to conceal, or a hand, the power, the covered hand, or the hidden power. And that's what brings, the power from the wheel to the hub. And it's kind of concealed. The power is tenoned in. You don't see what's holding it. And it's also translated as God is perfect, or the perfection of God. And so attributed as a teacher of astronomy. He also taught the children of men all of the wicked strikes of spirits, the strikes of demons, and the strikes of the embryo in the wounds, so that it may pass away, and the strikes of the soul, the bites of the serpent, and the strikes which befell through the noontide heat, which is called the son of the serpent, named Tavat, meaning male, during the days of Noah, not the days of Jared. So another meaning for Tomiel is the extended cutting edge of a falcon's upper mandible. The long tooth hanging over the rim. And we can also see that the tower is to climb upward. And that's why the godel is said to be screwed. That's how the birds will climb. They'll go around and around. They'll find a wind rising by a cliff, and they'll just circle around to use it to tower, to godel. And then why break 'em to Mael? Why break 'em Tomiel? Lamore is to elaborate, to say more, more into, all your AMRs are words, yammer, to whammer, to cry, to lammer is to elaborate, to say more about it. Peru means the three houses, and per is a house, u is the third vowel, Peru, the third house, the three houses whereinto. and from law to my mem. My mem. M-E-M is the word for waters, not M-I-M. They got it mixed up all through. But mem, M-E-M, is the water. So it's my waters is. To my waters is in jimmies. Usually when it says jimmies, they'll say it means the right hand. In the right hand side. In jimmies, we see up and then I-R-N, ear-in. We see appear in bars. How break? So break doesn't necessarily mean break, as in, it means to bend. When I'm working sheet metal, I break it. I bend it into shape. How in first fold, B-N-R first, K is fold, to break it. How break from tumael, from the first fold into the spoke to the wheel of more house 3, wherein to connect from law to my waters is in the right hand we see appear in bars. And so each one of these 90s, to their right hand, they have 2 more houses. Each one is 3 houses. To break into 3 houses, and then a 90, and then 3 houses, and a 90. Then 3 houses to Pisces, and on the right hand you see my waters. And so this is a book from God. So when he says, my waters, this is the God's waters, Aquarius. Where from law to my waters is in right hand we see appear in bars. And then so the wage, how they in row first in, backward, forward, in, row, first in. First the row, and how they reckon for, the roof before, the roof in 4, make use commissy. Now they're going to make use a commission. So it's giving you positions of the 4 winds and the 4 elements. And so the 4 winds are outside, giving it motion. You see this one blowing it off in this direction. These are just oilers. And he's giving it some motion. But the 4 winds sit between the 4 elements. The fire, air, water, and earth. And so that gives you, your humidities and your qualities and your sickities and frigidities. And so this is your 4 winds. So that's the 5th day. I'll get the 6th up soon, and I'll leave a link underneath for that book on falconry terms, because that was the sport of the kings, and you can't find those old books. They made them disappear, but a lot of this lingo in here has to do with falconry, and that's why you see that all the old kings, the rulers, were into falconry. You can see it in Egypt, that all the gods were birds, and then back in Rome you can see that that all the rulers, they were talking to the birds. Alright, I'll cut this off here. Good day.